Tired of slow response in your chatbot? Voiceflow generates the response and replies with the entire answer when finished. If the answer is lengthy, it could take quite a while. The user has to wait and can easily get frustrated. In this tutorial, we'll guide you through the process of building a cutting-edge AI chatbot to deliver lightning-fast, interactive experiences. We will use Voiceflow's streaming API, which has reduced latency, experienced significantly lower response times, keeping your users engaged and satisfied. Enhanced user experience, provide immediate feedback and smoother conversations, elevating user satisfaction. Dynamic interactions, enable real-time event streaming for more natural and responsive dialogues. Optimized long-running tasks, break down complex operations into smaller steps, providing updates as processing continues. Instantaneous LLM Responses, stream LLM-generated content in real time, offering instant feedback to users. Looks pretty good, right? Let us get started. First, let's go to the Voiceflow canvas. If it is your first time to log on, you may see the template, and you can delete it. We will build a chatbot from scratch. Let us drop a capture block on the canvas. In the drop-down, we choose the entire user reply. We capture the entire user reply and save it in a variable. By default, the variable is last utterance. Basically, the user question is saved in this variable. We can just use this default variable, and we'll pass it to AI models. Next, we put a prompt block on the canvas. We click the button to generate a new prompt. Under the user, we can add the user question. Here, we select the variable last utterance from the variable list, because we have set this variable to save the user question. The bot will send the user question to the desired AI model, and display the answer to the user. We can close the window, and the change will be saved. If you want to make other changes, you can click the Edit Prompt button. As you can see, the variable last utterance has been added. Also, if you want to choose other AI models, you can click the Settings button. We have the default model, Claude 3 Haiku. If you want to change to other models, you can click the arrow to select the desired model in the drop-down list. You also can change the temperature. The lower, the more deterministic the answer will be. If you set a higher temperature, the answer will be more random. Let us change the max tokens to 400, so we allow the AI model to generate a reasonably long enough answer. You can click the Run button to run a test. Here, we will skip it and close the window. We connect the start and all these blocks. As we allow user to ask the next question, we need to connect the last block with the capture block. So, we have a loop, and user can ask as many questions as he wants. Now, let us click the Start button to run a test. The bot is waiting for the user input. Let us ask, who is the US president? This is my favorite question when testing an AI bot. The bot replies, the current president of the United States is Joe Biden. It is a little long answer. The bot has generated the answer, and displays the entire answer at once after it finishes. Let us ask another question, what is the area of the US? It takes longer time to wait for the bot to display the answer. And we see it as a long answer. This is the problem. If the answer is lengthy, the user has to wait for quite a while, because Voiceflow generates the entire answer and displays it to the answer. This can cause bad user experience sometimes. If you have used ChatGPT, they generate the answer on the fly, and user can instantly see the answer in real time, which avoids an awkward silence. This is exactly what this tutorial is for. At the end of this video, we will see the ChatGPT-style chat with instant response. Let us go to the main menu, and click on the knowledge. In the knowledge base, we have a file containing employee data of the sales department. This data was generated by ChatGPT and used in our previous videos. It has the names, roles, salaries, and working years of each employee. For instance, as we can see, John's role is sales manager. He has 8 years working experience, and his salary is $75,000. We will build a chatbot to query the information regarding to the employee in the sales department. For example, we may ask the chatbot, what is the John's role? The chatbot should reply with the correct answer, sales manager. We may ask any questions related to the employee data, and expect to receive the answers from the chatbot. We will use a response AI block, because we can use it to query the knowledge base. We drop a response AI block on the canvas. We click the knowledge base. In the question, we select the last utterance variable, which saves the user question. The AI will generate an answer based on the user question. Let us connect the Start button and the response AI block. We run a test. Let's ask, what is John's role? But something is wrong. It says the conversation has ended, and we do not see the answer. If we go back to the canvas, we need to connect the Start button with the Capture block, and then, the Response AI block. In this way, the bot can capture the user input. Otherwise, just like we have done, the bot cannot capture user question. Now, let us run another test. We ask again, what is John's role? The bot replies, sales manager. This is right answer. The bot has searched the data in the knowledge base, and display the correct answer. Now, we have two paths, one is for the user to ask questions to the AI model, and the other is for the user to query the employee data in the knowledge base. Let us change this block to AI bot. This will be implemented when the user asks a question and wants to get the answer from the AI model. Let us change this block to employee bot. If this is implemented, the user can ask any questions related to the employee data in the knowledge base. We will use a condition block to control the paths. In the condition block, we select the expression. We will write a line of code to define the path. In the user question, we can add the AI bot or employee bot at the end, so, if we see the AI bot in the user question, we know we should implement the AI bot. If we see the employee bot in the user question, we know we should implement the employee bot. In the code, we can simply check if the variable last utterance includes the AI bot. If yes, we can return true, otherwise, we return false. Note, we need to turn on the else path, so that it can go to the employee bot if the last utterance variable does not include the AI bot. We connect the condition block with the AI bot block, and the else path with the employee bot. We also connect the capture block with the condition block. In this chatbot, we first capture the user question, which contains the information to tell what path the user wants to go. The condition block checks the question, and decides which path it moves along. It can go either the AI bot or the employee bot depending on the user's command. This looks good. In order to pass the user question without the appended string, we add a set block on the canvas. We choose value or expression to set the value to a variable. In the variable list, we select the last utterance variable. We choose the expression radio button. In the expression, we have the variable last utterance, and use the replace method to replace the AI bot string with an empty string. In this way, we strip the AI bot string from the last utterance, and save the pure user question back to the last utterance variable. We now have a question without the label, which is ready to pass to the AI bot. We connect the condition block with the set block, and with the AI bot block. We are going to do the same thing for the employee bot. Let us make a copy of the set block, and paste it here. In this set block, we need to change the AI bot to employee bot. In this way, we strip the employee bot string from the last utterance, and save the pure user question back to the last utterance variable. We connect this set block with the employee block, and connect it with the else path of the condition block. The condition block decides which path to go. It can go to the employee bot or the AI bot. The AI bot goes back to the capture block for the user to ask the next question. We also connect the employee block with the capture block, so the user can ask the next question if he wants. So far, we have built a chatbot, which can accept the user question by the capture block. The condition block checks if the user question contains the string AI bot. If yes, the logic goes to the set block to clean up the question by removing the AI bot string. Then the flow goes to the AI bot block to send the question to the AI model and display the answer to the user. On the other hand, if the condition block goes to the else path, the logic will flow to the set block to clean up the question by removing the employee bot string, and, then, goes to the AI bot block to send the question to search the knowledge base and display the answer to the user. Let us run a test. We ask, who was the US president? At the end, we append the AI bot because we want to get the answer from the AI bot block. The bot replies, the current president of the United States is Joe Biden. This is the correct answer, indicating the bot has implemented the correct block to get the answer. It has gone to the AI bot, because in the knowledge base, there is no such answer. Next, we test the employee bot. We ask, what is John's role? We append the employee bot at the end. The bot replies with sales manager. This is correct again, because the AI bot is not able to answer this question. It must have gone through the employee bot to get the correct answer. After the test, we now have a working chatbot, which can run the LLM to generate the answer based on the user question. It also can search the knowledge base and synthesize the correct answer according to the user query. But Voiceflow generate the entire answer and display it to the user. If the answer is lengthy, it will take long time to finish, and the user will have to wait for quite a while to see the answer. Sometimes, this is awkward. Let us publish the chatbot. In the following, we will use the streaming API to generate the answer on the fly. We can receive the chunks and immediately display them to the user. This gives the user lightning-fast, interactive experiences and can avoid the awkward silence. Let us go to this GitHub webpage. In our code, we are going to use the front end and style listed in the website. It has a beautiful user interface, and I will use it in this video to save a lot of time in styling. We click on the templates folder. In this folder, there is an HTML file. It contains the chat interface, such as the dialog window, user message form, submit button, etc. We can use it in this video, so we do not need to write all the HTML code from scratch. We click to download the HTML file. We click on the static folder. There is a CSS file for styling. It has all the necessary CSS code for our chatbot. We can use it in this video, so we do not need to write CSS code from scratch. Let us download the CSS file. We will use the local host for the website. In the www folder, I have created a folder called vfstream, which contains the chat HTML and style CSS files that we have just downloaded. We can open the folder using the visual code. As you can see, we have the chat HTML and style CSS files. The CSS file is perfect for the chatbot styling, and the styling is beautiful. We will not need to make any changes for this tutorial. The HTML file has the sections and elements for the chatbot. We will modify the code to fit our needs. It is script tag which contains some useful JavaScript code, which we can use in our code. On line 6, we have the bootstrap.js file with some broken function, and we do not need it. So, we can comment it out. On line 29, we need to replace the URL with the style.css, which points to the CSS file in the same folder. For the rest of the code, we have the card section, which contains the chatbot icon, and the user info section. There is a message form 8 section containing the message area where the user can input his question. There is also a submit button for the user to submit his question. In the script, there is a scroll to bottom function, so the message form 8 section will scroll to bottom of the chat window when new conversation is added. There is data, hour, and minute variables. And the string time to be displayed on the chat window. The user HTML contains the user question, the string time, and an image for the conversation. The AJAX is for the HTTP request, and we do not need it in our code. The bot HTML contains the answer, the string time, and a bot icon for the chatbot conversation. We need to append the bot HTML to the message form 8 of the chat window. We will see it more clearly when we get to the web page. As we have the chat HTML and the style file, we can load the code on the browser. Let us enter localhost/vfstream/chat. We can see the chat window shown on the browser. It is beautiful styling with the chatbot icon on the top. Let us inspect this message area. We can see it is a form with the ID of message form 8. It has a text input for the user to input his question. Understanding this will help us in our code because we will need to use these elements. Recall, in our Voiceflow chatbot, we have two paths which the user can choose, one is the AI bot, and the other is the employee bot. In order to implement this, we will add two buttons for the user to click, so he can choose which bot he wants to use. This is very convenient. We will add these two buttons on the top of the chat window, and write code with callback functions using the trigger events when the user click on the buttons. Let us go to the chat HTML to add two buttons. We can see the icon of the chatbot and the user info section. After these two sections, we can add our section to contain the two buttons with a class named ChooseBot. We add the first button with the ID of AI bot, and the name of the button is AI bot. When the user sees this button, he will know the chatbot goes to the AI bot if he clicks on this button. For the second button, we can copy the first button and paste it here. We change the ID to employee bot and the button name to employee bot as well. Let us go to the browser and refresh the web page. We can see the two buttons shown on the top of the chat window. We are going to change their position to the right. On this ChooseBot section, we add style to do so. We add margin left to auto, and order of 3. Because the parent element has style of flex, and our buttons are in the third order. This should work. Let us go to the browser and refresh the web page. The buttons have been moved to the right. This looks good. If we click the buttons, we can see the changes, but it will be better if the background colors are also changed. For example, if the button is clicked, its background is changed to red. The user will know he has selected the bot with the red background. Let us add some code. We use the onClick attribute, and the this keyword pointing to the object of the current scope, so, here is the AI bot button. We add the style of background color to red. After the AI bot button is clicked, its background color will be red. For the employee bot, we can simply make a copy of this code, and paste it in the employee bot. After refreshing the web page, we click on the AI bot button, and we see the background color turns red. But the employee button has a problem, and we see the syntax error on the console. We will need to fix this error. On the code, there is missing a double quotation mark. Let us add one to fix it. On the browser, we refresh the web page, and the buttons display normally. We click on the buttons, and their background color has changed to red. This means our code works, but we want to distinguish their background colors. When click on one button, it will be red, and we want the other button to be white. This means the bot with the red color is the bot we are using. We can select the button using the documents getElementById method. We add the ID of the employee bot button. The style of the background color is set to white. So, when the AI bot button is clicked, its background color will be red, and the employee button will have a white color. We can do the same for the employee button. We make a copy of this code and paste it here. Let us change the ID to AI bot. Now, we go to the web page and test it. If we click one button, the background color becomes red, and the other one is still white. If we click the other button, it becomes red, and the other becomes white. This is very helpful. The user can tell which bot he is using. If not doing so, it could be very confusing. This is very good. Next, we are going to write the code to implement the chatbots. Let us add a new file, and name it chatbots.js. In this file, we define a const variable form. Recall, we have the text area for the user to input his question. We get the element by ID and save it to the form variable. We will use the form's dataset attribute to set a data called bot. We give it a default value of AI bot. After this, we are going to add a callback function to the form when the user submits his question. We add an event listener to the form with the trigger submit. The callback function accepts an argument of event. In the function body, we will add code to display the user question on the chat window. If we go to the HTML file, we can see that in the script, after the submit trigger, it has the date, hour, and minute variables. The string time is built using these variables. We will use them in our code, and let us make a copy. We add event prevent default, and then paste the code here. We will display the string time along with the conversations. Next, we fetch the element of text, where the user can input his question, and save it in the const variable called userQuestion. We also fetch the message format element. We will append to it with the user question and the bot answer to display them in the chat window. We will add a user HTML element to contain the user question and the conversation time. If we go to the chat HTML file, we can see there is the user HTML variable. We are going to use it in our code. So, let us make a copy. In the Chatbots.js file, we define a const variable called user HTML to save a new element. We paste the code here. We assign the code to the inner HTML attribute. It has different sections and classes for styling. We need to change the raw text to the user question. Let us define a variable called question to save the user question. We can get it using the value attribute of the user question element. Now, we can change the raw text to the question variable. The string time variable has been defined previously, which can display the time when the conversation happens. In addition, we can see the image that will be displayed along with the question and conversation time. After we have updated the inner HTML of the user HTML element, we can append it to the message format and display the user question in the chat window. When the chat window has new conversations, we want to show it to the user, and we can use the scroll to bottom function to do so. In the chat HTML file, we can find the scroll to bottom function. Let us make a copy. In our code, we can paste it down here, and we call the function to display the new conversation in the chat window. As we have the user question variable, we may want to log out the user question on the console. This is very useful for debugging. Until now, we have the user HTML containing the user question. In the following, we will write code to implement the bot answer from Voiceflow, and display the answer chunk by chunk using the Voiceflow steaming API. In this way, the user can see the answer in real time, and we will have the streaming effect on the fly. Let us go to Voiceflow's doc page. We are now on the Interact Stream page. It says, we can send a request to advance the conversation session with your Voiceflow project, receiving a stream of events back. Clients connect to this endpoint to receive server-side events, SSE, using the text/event stream format. This allows for real-time events during progression through the flow. Streaming events can be used to drastically improve latency and provide a more natural conversation by sending information to the user as soon as it's ready, instead of waiting for the entire Voiceflow turn to be finished. We can see the example request with all the needed HTTP request parameters. We also can see the example response with the message and the payload of the data. The message contains all the answer chunks, and we will need to extract them to display them to the user. There are required parameters, such as the project ID, user ID. We will show you how to get them. We will also send the query parameters in the HTTP request. In the body parameters, we need to send the launch request, and then send the text request. I think the instruction is confusing, and it is not clear if it is your first time to use the streaming API. I spent quite some time on figuring out how. You may also watch our previous video to learn more about Voiceflow's dialog API. Back to the top of the page, we also need to input the Voiceflow API key. Let us go back to the Voiceflow canvas. Click to go to the main menu. We can click the integration icon. In the API keys, we click the copy button to make a copy of the primary API key. We paste it in this box. In the drop-down, we select the language JavaScript because we are using it in coding. You can see the code example. It has the HTTP request parameters and the fetch function. We will use it later. Next, we are going to get the project ID and user ID, which are required. Back to Voiceflow, if we click the settings icon, we scroll down. In the metadata, we can see the project ID, and we can click the copy button to make a copy. We paste the project ID in the box. Next, we are going to get the user ID. Back to the Voiceflow canvas, we click the Run button. On the left, we click the line to show the variables. We can see the user ID and make a copy of it, which is test_user in this case. We paste the user ID in the box. In the code example, we can see the product ID and user ID have been automatically updated with the values we have entered. In the query parameters, we can select the production for the environment because we have published our chatbot. If you do not publish your chatbot, you can select the development, which is the default value. For the completion event, we choose true because we are going to do streaming. We want break up LLM traces into streamed-in chunks, so we have the streaming effect. If false, the entire answer will be returned. Now let us click the Stream Completion Events link to go to the stream page. It says, break down AI responses into discrete chunks for faster response times. We have an example for the completion events equals false. It is text type, and the message is the entire message. If we set the completion events equals true, we will get chunks of the message. The type is now completion. We have the state of content, and the content contains a piece of the message. We have other traces with the same structure, and the content is one of the chunks of the entire message. Understanding this is very helpful in our coding. We go back to the Interact Stream page. In the body parameters, we choose the launch request with the type of launch. This is required. It is also shown in the request code. In the request parameters, we have the project ID, the user ID, the environment of production, and the completion event set as true. All looks good. Let us click the Try It button. We see the response with the 200 status. This means the request has succeeded. We have the traces shown here. Now we are ready to use the code. Let us make a copy of it. Go back to our code. We first add a new file, and name it as vflaunch.js. Let us paste the code here. This is the launch we need to implement before we call the Stream API with the text request. In the chat HTML file, we add the script tag with the type of module, and src attribute of vflaunch.js, which points to the JS file we have added in the same folder. So, this launch file will be loaded. If we go to the browser and refresh the web page, we see an error shown on the console. It says, syntax error and unexpected token. It is located in the line 14 of the vflaunch.js file. Let us go to the file. On line 14, we change the error method to log, which does not require JSON format data. We refresh the web page again. Now, the error has gone, and we see a warning. But this is okay, and it does not matter when we run the chatbot. We are going to make a copy of the code in the launch file, and modify it for the text request. In the chatbots.js file, we will write a function to implement the streaming API. Let us define the function with the name of vfChatbot. It accepts 3 arguments, the user question, the string time and the form element. Let us paste the code here. We have the Voiceflow API key in the authorization. In your application, you may use the .env file to save the API key. In the action, we need to change the launch to text and add a payload. In the payload, we add the user question. Also, we add the data bot of the forms dataset. In this way, we pass the user question together with the bot selected by the user to make sure the chatbot will choose the correct path. If the employee bot has been selected, it will go to the path to search the knowledge base for the answer. Otherwise, it will go to the AI bot path. In the beginning, we set the default value as AI bot. In case the user forgets to click the button to select the bot, we still can use the default value. In the fetch function, we pass 2 arguments. In the URL, we have set the completion events equals true. The options have the updated text type with the payload containing the user question. After the fetch function, it will return a promise object with the response. We delete this JSON method. Instead, we check if the response status is OK, or the response body is not null. Otherwise, we throw a new error object with the message to indicate the API failed together with the response status and response text. If the response is OK, we return the response body. The response body is a readable stream, which we will get the data chunks from. Note, usually we return the JSON data from the response at this step. But here, we need to return the response body. After we have the response body, we will call a function with the name of readStream. This function has two arguments. One is the residential, which is the response body that is a readable stream, the other is the string time. Next, we will write code to implement this function to obtain the streaming data chunks. We define a variable message and initialize it with an empty string. We create a new element and save it to a const variable named as bot.html. We define a const variable reader. The readable stream has a getReader method. We save it to the reader. We define two variables, done and appended. We initialize both with the false value. Next, we use a while loop to read the stream. We check if done is false. If yes, we implement the code in the loop to get the chunks. We define a const object with the value variable and the done variable. In the await function, we implement the reader's read method. If we have the variable is done becoming true, we break the loop. If not done, we process the chunk data, which is saved in the variable of value. At this point, we can log out the value on the console for debugging. We read the stream value to save it in the variable str. The text decoder has a method called decode, which can accept the value as the argument. After decoding the uint stream, it converts the stream into a string. We also can log out the string value on the console. In the string chunks, they may contain new line characters to separate the paragraphs. In this case, we use the string split method to get these paragraphs and save them in the array variable. We use for each method to check each element. If the element string includes the type completion and state content, it means this string has our chunk data. We then split the string with the quotes, and save the array in the trace variable. The last string is an empty string. So, we use the trace length -2 to get the last non-empty string. Sometimes, there is a new line character in the string, and we replace it with the tag br. When it displays in the chat window, we will see a new paragraph. After this, we concatenate the chunks with the message. Again, we may want to log out the message on the console. As we have the answers, we are going to display them in the chat window. In the HTML file, there is a variable called bot.html. It contains the answer string and the conversation time. We make a copy of it. In the Chatbot.js file, we paste the code here. Previously, we have defined the bot.html variable. Now we use the inner HTML attribute to add the code. We need to change the data to message, and the string time remains same. It has a beautiful image to display in the chat window. When we display the answer, we want to show it at the bottom of the window, so, just like we have done with the user HTML, we use the scroll to bottom function to do this. We need to check if the bot.html has been appended or the message is not null. If yes, we append the bot.html to the message format. And we set the appended variable as true. In this way, we will not append the bot.html for multiple times. As we have finished the coding, we are going to call the VF Chatbot function. We pass 3 arguments, question, string time, and form. After we have displayed the user question and bot answer in the chat window, we may want to set the value of the user question element as an empty string. So, the user can input his next question. In the readStream function, we have an await keyword. So we need to add the async keyword in the beginning. In the chat.html file, we will need to add the JS file. We can make a copy of this code and change the vf-launch.js to chatbot.js. For the original script tag, we can simply delete it. In order to distinguish the paths with the buttons, we can add the chatbot data set to each button. When the AI bot button is clicked, we can select the message area element and set the bot data of its dataset with the value of AI bot. We do the same thing for the employee bot. When the employee bot button is clicked, we can select the message area element and set the bot data of its dataset with the value of employee bot. Until now, we have finished all the coding. Let us test it out on the browser. We refresh the web page. There is no error shown on the console. This is good. Let us click the AI bot button. It is now read. Let us enter the question, what is the area of the US? The chatbot replies with a long detailed answer. We can see the streaming, and we do not need to wait for the entire answer. The answer is in a good format, and there are paragraphs. This is very good. We ask another question, what is the distance between the Earth and the Moon? Again, we see the streaming, and good formatting. Now, let us click the Employee Bot button. We ask, what is John's role, salary, and working years? We see the chatbot replies with the correct answer. Let us test another salesperson. We ask, what is Emily's role, salary, and working years? We see the correct answer. This demonstrates the successful switch between these two types of bots. If we click the AI bot button again, we ask, what is the area of Canada? We can see the ChatGPT style streaming. I like the format very much. This can increase the user experience. Especially for long answers, it can avoid awkward silence. Hope this helps. If you like this video, please subscribe and give a thumbs up. If you have any comments and suggestions, please let us know. Thank you for your support.